Is it possible for a 13-year-old to be a seasoned professional before the world even knows his name? The image of Malakai Bayoh standing on the Britain's Got Talent stage in 2023 remains one of the most iconic moments in the show's modern history. Clad in a simple hoodie and jeans, he looked like any other nervous teenager, but the moment he began his rendition of Jesu, the atmosphere in the room shifted. To the millions watching at home, this was a classic Cinderella story, a hidden gem discovered by Simon Cowell. However, investigative fans and industry insiders quickly began digging into the archives, and what they found painted a much more complex picture of the young singer. Malakai wasn't just a choir boy. He was a student at the prestigious Cardinal Vaughan Memorial School, known for producing world-class vocalists. More importantly, he had already performed at the Royal Opera House and recorded with classical heavyweights like Ail Jones long before his amateur audition. This revelation sparked a massive debate across social media regarding the authenticity of reality TV discoveries. Critics argued that the show's narrative of a nervous beginner was a manufactured trope designed to manipulate emotional engagement. From a reporting perspective, this raises questions about the line between talent scouting and reality TV staging. Was Malakai's audition a genuine leap of faith, or was it a strategic launchpad for a career that was already in motion? As we analyze the 2026 landscape of his career, the industry plant label continues to follow him, yet his undeniable skill often silences the loudest skeptics. The transition from a viral sensation to a respected artist is a path paved with scrutiny, and for Malakai, the journey was just beginning. But as the fame grew, so did a very public and very ugly form of opposition that no child should ever have to face. What happens when the elite world of classical music turns its back on a child prodigy? While Malakai was being celebrated by the masses on television, he was simultaneously navigating the cutthroat and often gate-kept world of professional opera. One of the most harrowing reports to surface involved a performance of Handel's Alcina at the Royal Opera House. In a move that shocked the artistic community, a grown man in the audience began loudly booing and heckling the then 13-year-old Malakai during his solo. Reports from the night describe an uncomfortable tension as the young singer maintained his composure despite the verbal assault. This incident wasn't just a case of a tough crowd. It highlighted a deep-seated resentment within certain classical circles against the commercialization of the genre. Many purists felt that Malakai's association with reality TV shows like BGT cheapened the prestige of the opera house. The Royal Opera House eventually issued a lifetime ban to the heckler, but the psychological impact on a young performer cannot be understated. This event became a focal point for discussions on the toxicity of fan culture and the elitism that still plagues the classical world in 2026. As a reporter, observing Malakai's stoicism in the face of such public derision reveals a level of professional maturity that far exceeds his years. It also served as a dark foreshadowing of the pressures that would follow him as he transitioned into his mid-teens. The angelic boy was now a lightning rod for controversy, caught between the love of a global audience and the sharp knives of traditionalist critics. But even as he fought for respect in the opera world, an even greater challenge was approaching, one that he couldn't control with practice or poise. Can a brand built on a pure, high soprano survive the inevitable biological shift of a growing boy? By early 2026, the music industry began to buzz with a new set of rumors regarding the future of Malakai's career. For a boy soprano, the change in voice is a professional deadline that brings immense anxiety. Reports suggest that Malakai and his management team have had to navigate this transition under the watchful eyes of millions. During this period, the industry plant narrative reached its peak. Critics pointed to his high-budget music videos and his rapid placement in major ENO, English National Opera productions, as evidence of a forced career path orchestrated by powerful executives. In our investigation, we see two distinct sides to this story. On one hand, his management has been accused of overworking the young star to capitalize on his boy soprano sound before it disappeared forever. On the other hand, Malakai's defenders argue that his talent is so rare that any label would be foolish not to invest heavily in him. This tension created a high-stakes environment where every performance was analyzed for signs of voice cracking or fatigue. Some speculate that the scandals and emotional updates, often seen in the headlines, are part of a broader strategy to keep him relevant while his voice settles into a new register. From a news perspective, this is a fascinating study in brand management for a minor. How do you pivot a global brand when the product, the voice, is literally changing every day? The pressure led to a brief hiatus from the public eye in late 2025, which many fans feared was the end of his career. However, what happened next was a carefully calculated comeback that redefined his entire public persona and set the stage for his current status in 2026. Is Malakai Bayoh a fleeting viral memory, or the blueprint for the next generation of classical icons? As we look at Malakai's status in mid-2026, the reports are becoming increasingly positive, yet the air of mystery remains. Rather than fading away like many other reality TV stars, he has successfully reinvented himself within the English National Opera. He is no longer the small boy with the big voice. He is becoming a young man with a baritone tenor range that is already being lauded for its depth and color. This transition was not an accident. It was a strategic, and perhaps even controversial, move to distance himself from the BGT brand and establish himself as a serious operatic actor. This shift has effectively silenced those who claimed he was a one-trick pony of the talent show circuit. However, the costs of this journey have been high. Sources close to the industry suggest that Malakai has had to sacrifice a normal teenage life, dealing with contracts, world tour, and public scrutiny that most adults would find overwhelming. The untold story of his rise is one of immense discipline but also of significant sacrifice. As he moves forward, the shadow of the golden buzzer still lingers, but he is slowly stepping out from under it. His story serves as a case study for the modern age of fame, a mixture of raw talent, aggressive marketing, and the incredible resilience of a young man determined to survive the spotlight. Whether he was placed there by an industry machine or rose through sheer merit, the result is the same, a performer who has changed the way we view young classical artists. As he takes the stage in his latest 2026 production, the world is no longer just waiting to hear an angel sing. They are waiting to see what kind of man Malakai Bayoh will become.